Hi guys, it's Thomas here from COTBase.com. Welcome to this week's Commitments of Traders review. Today we're going to have a look at the 45th COT report in 2013. And as usual, we're going to start off with the changes in commercials positions. So here we go. As you can see, we've got the Japanese yen on top of our list. We have a 41% change in commercials positions. That's a pretty large change considering it is a currency. But if we look at this 1 year's chart, you can see we do see large changes in the Japanese yen. So what we can do now is have a look at the chart and see what prices reacted when we had a larger change. Here we have an opposite direction in the change of commercials positions. You can see it was at this relative top over here. Then we've got a little bit larger change size pointing in the same direction, not as large as we have right now, and a couple of more over here. So you can see that there is some kind of a correlation between larger changes in traders' positions and price reaction. So that's good news if we're considering a long trade. But let's have a look at the 5-year chart and see how extreme this market really is. You can see that we've been at this very large extreme level for quite some time. It was a false signal, a so-called commercial capitulation back over here. And as you can see, prices just dropped heavily afterwards. But the extreme is still there. And there is no question that before we see a rally in prices, we should be at such extreme levels. Of course, no one can tell. I'm not saying the rally is going to start right now, but one thing's for sure, we've got a positive signal from the change size, and also the extreme is pointing in the same direction. Let's move on and have a look at the 30-year bond, where we have a 25% change in commercials positions, a 19% change in the large speculators, and the same change size in small speculators. What's interesting to see, but again, something that happens quite often in 30-year bond, as you can see on this 1-year chart, that both commercials and large speculators are taking the long side of the market, and only small speculators are short. So that in itself could be a bullish signal, but we need to open a 5-year chart and have a look at everything on a wider time frame to really see whether this the bullish signal can evolve. We would be at an extreme, you can see on this chart, if commercials were above 150,000 contracts or below, let's say 75,000 contracts. So they're more or less in between. We can't really talk about a major COT extreme, but the change size is definitely large, pointing upwards. Small speculators are the only ones shorting the market. So I would say this is more of a bullish signal than a bearish one. Soybean Meal, we have a 22% change over there in commercials positions, and roughly the same changes in large speculators and small speculators. You can see the change size over here. This time it is pointing downwards. So remember last report we had a more of a buy signal, and you can see prices did react. Prices did go higher, although we may have seen this signal a little bit late. Don't forget, the reports are always showing us Tuesday's position. So by the time we get to see it, prices have already reacted. And as last week I told you, we are not at an extreme situation. So I wouldn't suggest Soybean Meal for a trade at the moment. But let's have a look at large speculator COT Extreme. Here we go. Natural gas, cotton, and Fed funds are on top of our list. Let's open natural gas first. We have 101 report extreme. So it's an extreme, definitely a relative one. I wouldn't say it's an extremely large extreme to say, but you can see on this 5-year chart so that we haven't seen such levels for roughly 2.5 years now. So it's more of a bullish extreme. If you look back over here, similar levels back in the beginning of this year, that could put an end to this this little decline over here in prices, and prices could rally further. So that's an extreme that we may take as a signal. Let's have a look at cotton. We have a 49 report extreme. So we don't really have huge extremes this week. Remember last week we actually had 4 all-time extremes to talk about. Here in cotton, you can see basically both commercials and large speculators are very close to zero line, meaning they're really not holding any net positions, and small speculators are only short of roughly 5,000 contracts. So, but opening a 5 years chart, we can see everything on a wider time frame. Here we go, and actually, by opening this chart, and it's really a good example why it is really important to always look at the chart itself. By opening the chart, this 49 report extreme isn't that small at all. You can see we are very close to extreme levels. The fact that commercials could get net long suggests that this may be actually a very good buying opportunity. If you look at this 5 year chart back over here, it just coincided with this bottom, and the fact that they were commercials were above the zero line again correlated with this bottom over here. So it is a bullish signal. And then Fed funds, finally, our last market to have a look at this week in this review. Here we go. You can see that basically on this 1 year's chart, they're definitely at an extreme. If we open a 3 years chart, I'd rather open this 3 year chart, you can see that in Fed funds we can talk about a relative extreme. The last time we had such a level of extreme in traders positions was back over here in roughly mid 2012, and that coincided with a bottom in prices. So again, this could be considered more of a bullish signal, but I wouldn't say it's the really the toughest COT extreme signals that I would act on. But anyhow, that was our last market for the review. If you would like to have a look at other COT charts, you can do so at our COT charts page. If you would like to have a more in-depth and detailed COT analysis, then check out our subscription service at cotbase.com. You can add other really useful functions to our table: the long-term trend, volume and open interest scores, and of course the COT index, and look at other COT report types, data types, all sorts of very useful functions at our webpage. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope to see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.